I wanted to make a video about why scale matters to the Unity physics engine. So I made two worlds. I made a small world and a large world. And you can see them both in this view. This is the small one, this is the large one, obviously. And you can see that if I move around a little bit, you can kind of get a sense of the scale. This one's 10 times the size of this one. But each of them has its own camera. And they look exactly the same, as you can see. You can see a little bit of the large world peeking in right here, but otherwise they look exactly the same. And I did that with the viewport rect, negative 0.5, positive 0.5. And I made it 0.501 just so there's a little split between the screens. So otherwise, these are exactly the same. Plane, you can see the transform's exactly the same. The small, I made two, I guess this one shouldn't be called small anymore. It should be called large. But this one should be called heavy large. But large and small, you can see they're exactly the same transforms. They've got different materials, and that's it. And the heavy ones are exactly the same transforms. And so the planes also, I probably already mentioned that, same transform. The camera is the same transform. The only difference in the camera is the viewport rect. And the container game objects are the same transform with two important exceptions. One is the large world is shifted over 800 just to get it out of the way of the small one. But the other is that the scale is 10 times as big in every axis. So what I've heard before is that you might arbitrarily scale up your world to fix problems or to just make things bigger. And I just want to point out that you can do that, but it does affect how the objects behave, because dropping something off the skyscraper like this, the object is going to take longer, no matter what size it is, to get to the ground than dropping something off a two-story building like this. And so you can scale up your objects quite a bit, and you can set up the camera so that it looks exactly the same. But the physics engine won't behave the same, and this is the reason why, and it's a good reason. It shouldn't behave the same. It's much longer real-world distance to the physics engine for these things to drop than this one, and they shouldn't drop any faster than that. I did want to point out that mass doesn't have anything to do with it too, because you can see that this one's 1, this one's 100, and in either case they're dropping at exactly the same rate, which is that's some evidence sort of the idea that you can drop a bowling ball or a feather on the moon and they'll drop at the same speed. And you can increase that to 1,000 or 10,000. Let's give it a shot. So the difference between these two on this side is that one weighs 1 and one weighs 10,000, and they don't drop any different. They don't bounce any different either. So anyway, I wasn't really making this to show off the mass. That's just a side effect. I was making this to show that the distance and the scale matters a lot.